The bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RBs created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBs.com. That's the number 4RBs.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees! Save us all!
Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk, and thank you for joining myself, Tully, and Steven. And today we have an amazing guest by the name of Robin Haynes. How's everybody been this fine week?
Good.
Good.
We're excited to have you on, Robin.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it is.
So before we get started on the strangeness that surrounds your life, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I consider myself more an experiencer than a researcher. Have I done research? Yeah, I've been out, did the measurements and got the DNA and different things, but I've been experiencing a lot of this stuff since I was just such a small child. I don't remember any time that this wasn't going on, whether it be mind speak, UFOs, aliens, dogmen, Sasquatch, other cryptids. It's never not been a massive part of my life. They've been there forever. Like, I don't remember it. Even my mom remembers me when I first learned how to talk, as a toddler, talking about these things. So it's been a weird and wacky life. I wouldn't change it for anything. I've been so blessed, but it's definitely unique. Like, my normal is not other people's normal. Like, my normal is abnormal.
We can appreciate that. I think to some level, we're all kind of into the woo and have experienced things. So,
but isn't that the best place to be?
Yes,
It really is.
Do you know why you're into the woo?
No.
Explanation for it?
Yeah.
It comes down, and everybody gets sick of me saying this, but it comes down to frequency and energy. Everything is frequency and energy. You guys are of a higher frequency, which is why you get to experience all this stuff and why you can accept a lot of the craziness and be okay with it. It's because you're a higher frequency. That's why.
that sounds like something Morgana would say, honestly.
It's the truth. It is the absolute truth. Everything is energy and frequency. And for anybody that wants to get close to any of these cryptids, whether it be an alien or any kind of a cryptid, ET, dimensional, elemental, you have to be in a higher frequency because your brain in a third dimension cannot process it. And the cryptids are all drawn like magnets to anybody with higher frequency. And so if you want to have anything to do with them or be a part of their lives, you've got to be a higher frequency person. And you need to anyway, because our planet is going through a very massive frequency shift. Has been really hot and heavy about 3 years, actually started a couple years before that, which is why we're getting all of these time jumps. We're getting timeline jumps. We are getting the frequency storms. Everything is at a much higher level right now. Everybody's body's going from carbon-based to crystalline, which is why we're having sleep patterns disturbed. Emotionally, we're all over the map. Nothing feels right anymore. Everything feels out of sync. It is because your body is going from carbon-based to crystalline, and it's having to adjust to a higher frequency.
Well, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I can personally say that for the last few years, it's kind of felt weird here lately, especially with, you name it, Mandela effects.
Yeah.
Time seems like it's going quicker now.
Yeah. Our timelines are jumping all over the place. Parallel planes, the whole world is a matrix anyway. And then we have all of these planes. But now, because it wasn't already, making everybody crazy enough, we have the retrogrades in effect. So you've got frequency pushing forward stronger and stronger and stronger and getting a higher frequency while the retrogrades pushing back at it. So it's made it even harder.
Yeah, I don't know about you all. I've felt like beat down this week.
Yep.
Just straight up. And I thought it was a time change, but I felt great like Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, it felt like I got hit by a truck.
Yeah, your body feels like it's made out of concrete.
Yeah. So
yeah, and like I teach all this stuff. I teach classes and all this, and what I've been telling all of my people is, number one, bump up on the water and protein. That does help. It doesn't get rid of it. Okay. Anything paranormal going on, it does help a little bit, but listen to what your body wants. Like if you're a person that doesn't like a certain food and all of a sudden you want it, your body needs it. Your body is changing. It's going from carbon to crystalline. Wacky things are going on. So whatever your body tells you it needs, give it to it, because it needs it to be able to balance through this. I don't care if it tells you need 3 naps a day. Listen to your body. Like, I am not a nap person. I didn't take naps as a child, and now it's like, dear Lord.
I'm a huge nap person, and here recently I haven't been able to. It's weird.
Sleep patterns are messed up. I try to sleep at night, and there's no way. I'm up every 20 minutes.
Let me drag you back for a second, though. Will you elaborate a little bit on the carbon to crystalline transformation?
What I do know about it is just what the Sasquatch have said. Like everything that I know, I've learned from the cryptids, I've learned from the aliens, I've learned from Earthkeeper, and what they call the Master, which is what talked to Admiral Byrd in Antarctica. There's also 4 of them. They rotate every 2.5 life years. But my understanding is our bodies were carbon based to begin with. And because of the higher frequency, we now have to go into crystalline. Now, how that transformation takes place, I can't get anybody to tell me. I'm sure people know. But your body is gradually transferring whether you want it to or not. So as that goes about, it changes a lot of things. We feel very out of sorts. We have interrupted sleep patterns. Everything in us changes. Our emotions run higher. And the other thing is, as you go to a higher frequency, your emotions automatically run higher. The higher the frequency, the higher emotions, which means you love deeper, you hate deeper, you get angrier, easier. It doesn't matter. It enhances every emotion that you will have to the maximum degree. This is why with our cryptids, we notice that, when they give you what I call the love bubble, where they project love on you, it's to the point where you want to cry, because it's much deeper than the love that we carry. When they are mad, it's like, my God, they're crazy, because they're high frequency, and we will never catch up to that frequency. But that carbon base going into crystalline, our bodies have to transfer into that. We have to, in order to be able to sustain the higher frequencies and the higher energies. And the only thing that I've known that has ever really helped anybody, and it's not a cure-all. Like if you're expecting it to cure it and you won't have to go through it, no. But is the extra fluids and the extra protein. And if your body tells you it needs to eat something, listen to it. I don't care if it's junk food or not. I'm a person, I eat mostly chicken. And not that I don't like beef, but I eat mostly chicken. I went for 2 weeks where I literally lived on Philly sandwiches. I didn't even want the cheese or anything else. It was like, give me double meat and bread. I don't care about anything else. I could not eat anything but that for like a week or 2. It was ridiculous. I was total carnivore.
Yeah, I appreciate that 100%. I also
but listen to your body, because your body knows what it's going to need for this adjustment. It really does. And we all have to go through it. It will affect everybody differently. I don't want anybody to think that there's one way it's going to hit them. Everybody's body's different. Everybody's frequency and energy is different. It's a signature, just like your thumbprint is. Okay. And our bodies have to transform into this. It has to go through the process. Another way to think of it is, when we come into this world until the time we leave, it's a learning. Everything is a lesson. Even when you don't think there's a lesson there, it is. Even when you think you have no activity with the cryptids or anything else, it still is. You may be getting downloads in the brain and you aren't aware of it, and it will come out at a later date. Everything is a learning curve. This is the same way. So we all have to go through this process. We're going to go through it whether we want to or not, because the planet is changing. There's no option. For the people that don't want to move with it and they want to stay in that third dimension, it's going to be even harder for them. They're going to have a really difficult time because the rest of the world, whether they're aware of it or not, has to go through this frequency change. So you have to look at it. It's just part of the lessons.
Do you think that, because something we talk about often, just being, we used to be called conspiracy theorists. Now we're just historians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something we've talked about frequently is just all the artificial waves that have been created, between Wi-Fi, cell phone towers, radio signals, you name it. Is any of that interfering with what the things that you're talking about? Like,
I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just, I guess what I'm kind of like hunting for here is like, do you think that the powers that be are aware of this and are maybe like, because they keep increasing the amount of waves, like are they doing that like on purpose or for a reason, you think?
Right now there is a reason, yes, but not for what you think. First off, just because I don't do politics, okay? I'm not a Republican or a
neither do we.
Yeah,
neither
so
do we.
I don't want anybody to think that this has to do with Republican or Democrat. But the old government, for lack of a better term, was very much using it for interference. Yes. Okay. The government that we have is very much aware of the frequency changes. They, right now, from the government intel that I personally have, they are very much aware of the energies and the frequencies changing. They are very much in favor of it. They also know it needs to happen. And so there are changes being made in the Wi-Fi's. Okay, we all know that there's Starlink. Okay, Starlink, what people don't realize is there's two. There's the Starlink that everybody signs up for and everybody has. There's also another Starlink called SpaceX. SpaceX is not going to, where it may have a little bit of an interference in there, it's not for nefarious purposes. It is being used to help scramble certain things against the cabal, which is a very, very good thing as far as I'm concerned. So that's what it's for. It's also going to help with a lot of disclosures that will come up. So that one actually is a good one. But we have for years, they have used the Wi-Fi as a weapon, I think, more against us. It's like, how many of us look at our cell phones and you don't even have to type anything in, but all you have to do is think about something, then all of a sudden you start getting ads for it.
Yeah.
Because the cell phones that we have as of now, not the new ones that will be eventually coming out, and they are in the works, they were meant to spy on us. Your flat screens were meant to spy on you. I mean, it's a fact. I think pretty much everybody knows it, but it is an actual fact. And there is a lot of things in the works that I can and cannot go into that will be putting a stop to a lot of that. Absolutely. We are going to be going into the quantum. And as that progresses, we will have a much better safeguard for a lot of things. Nothing's perfect, obviously, but things cannot penetrate through the quantum. And so that is where that SpaceX will go.
You think that the transition to quantum is a good thing?
100%. 100%. First off, everybody knows Ron Moorhead because he's Ron Moorhead. I mean, how do you get better than Ron Moorhead? You know, he's just the best. We love Ron. And he was right all along about the quantum physics of things. I am not an expert in quantum physics, okay? But what I will tell you is everything that goes on with these cryptids, with the elementals, the dimensionals, the portals, the vortex, the aliens, it's all high frequency and energy that is used through quantum. All of it. Absolutely everything. When the Sasquatch go to cloak, They bend the light. How do they bend the light? They raise their frequency till they vibrate to the point where it bends the light around them. That's why you don't see them. If they don't do it as frequently or as harsh, then you get that predator effect where it looks like the gelled water, which is more of a shimmer. That goes across the board with everything. Any illusion, any shape shifting, any levitation, all of it is all done through that higher frequency. It all goes through the quantum. Our new banking system. Get ready, guys. It's all through the quantum. Why? To protect us. You cannot break into quantum, which is why there's two Starlinks.
That's wild. That's wild for sure. Really,
yeah.
Like I'm stoked that the surveillance state may be disrupted a little bit from this, because literally everything we have, car, watch, TV, phone, computer, refrigerator in my case, like everything, cameras and microphones on it. It's insane. It's truly wild. Like, I wouldn't doubt that our air fryer that she bought has a camera and a microphone in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're watched so bad. It's just absolutely incredible. You know, I think, I'm not going to say that we'll never be watched again, even with the quantum, but it is going to be a benefit to us for a lot of things. And I think what I will say is this, and I can't say that it's going to happen in the next 10 days or the next 30 days. It could be another year. We do have a lot of alien technology that will be out within the next 2 years that everybody will see. But all of this has to come from the frequencies and the energies. That's how everything works. It's just the way it is. And we all got to get on board with it. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to take. I get that, but it's going to be okay. I do think that, to a degree, and this is my own personal opinion, not been said by anybody, but I do think that we're always going to be watched to a certain degree. I do know that the quantum banking system is set up so that we are more protected. Okay. So there's a lot going on with that. And when it comes to that quantum banking system, just an FYI, guys, for everybody, if you get something saying you have to sign up for it, please, for the love of God, do not sign up for it. Okay? You can't sign up for it. You have to do it in the bank because it's done by biometrics, not filling out a form. So there's a lot of scammers out there. So that's just kind of like an FYI thrown in there for everybody. They want you to fill out forms and you're not in a bank doing it with the bank teller. It is a scam. And right now there are hundreds and thousands of scams out.
Got you. What's up, Ronnie? I see you in the comments.
Hey, Ronnie.
So, man, that's a lot to unpack. This is like a choose your own adventure conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you all want to go next?
Pick a topic, guys.
I'm still.
If I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know everything.
I will say that I know they're still working on getting your pictures and videos together, but it's something we watched a video. Sometimes we do conspiracy watch parties, and we watched a video the other day that it was kind of the notion that all of these data centers are being set up to power the surveillance infrastructure, because it's like Cecil said, there's so many mics and video cameras and stuff and everything now. There's not enough people to physically watch it all or listen to it all. And there's the theory that they're setting up all these data centers to process to fuel the surveillance state, if you will. So, I mean, I don't know if any of that is going to change with what you're talking about into the quantum, but that I hope it gets better. I
think the quantum makes it harder. I don't think, in my opinion, they say that way there will be less interference, I guess, for lack of a better word, especially with the banking systems. And I think it is safer. I don't know how anything is going to be foolproof. What I'm told, and my gut feeling is that it's going to improve it. I don't know that anything is foolproof, because using the quantum system that has been explained to me, you would have to use it correctly. And let's face it, that if we don't use it correctly, it's not going to work. And then everybody comes back and says, well, see, it didn't work. It didn't work. Okay, but were you doing it the way it was supposed to be used? You know, your bank accounts are still your bank accounts. You still can get them broke into. Using the quantum system is the holding card for your money, which is a difference between that and your bank account. So, you know, it's going to be a complicated process. Everybody's got to learn to get on. As far as the quantum for security, if you're using the internet systems that are quantum, I think you are going to be a lot safer. But I am also a person that believes that there's so many in the lower parts of whether it's government or cabal or whatever, they'll find a way around everything. So I think there's still going to be some concerns. That's just my own personal, you know, thoughts. But I think it's going to be better than what it was. And at this point, I'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah. It's hard to get
And, you
any
know,
worse.
The conspiracy theories that everybody talks about, and they're like, oh, it's all a conspiracy theory. And every conspiracy theory is a little bit of truth.
Again, historian here.
Yep. Okay, you know how you do the truth and lie test?
Well,
You can use your own frequency and energy within your body. I teach all my students this, the first lesson. In everybody's body is an energy meter. Whether you stay in the third dimension or not, that's up to you. But everybody's body has a certain frequency and energy. Everyone's is different. It's a signature. But it's also a lie detector. And everybody's body reads energy, even if you don't know you're doing it. So if I say to you, don't think with your brain, just feel your body. Okay. And if I say to you, we're really not doing this show, you know, we're outside having a pajama party and shaking hands with Sasquatch, your body, while it sounds funny, should tighten up in some way. Some people feel their head tighten up, other people their chest, their body tightens up, or it just feels off. It doesn't feel fluid. It doesn't feel relaxed. It feels off. That's because your body energetically is reading a lie. But if I say to you, hey guys, we're all doing this show, we're going to have a good time, we're going to laugh, we're going to share information, it should feel like your body relaxes and opens up.
Mhm.
That's how you tell if it's a truth or a lie. And you can use that in every aspect of your life with every person. And I encourage everybody to do that with me, because I know when I put my head down at night, and God knows I've never lied about any of this. So I'm good with it. So, but I teach my students this the very first time. And I'm like, anybody you talk to, I don't care what it is. If you are getting mind speak and you're not sure you heard it right, get the mind speak again. Does your body react where it tightens and it feels closed up, or does your body feel relaxed? If it feels relaxed, you got it right. If it feels a little off or a little uncomfortable, ask them again, because you didn't get it right.
No, I think that's great advice, actually. You know, now that you've said that, I definitely have had moments like that where there's a distinction. And maybe I just wasn't aware of it, but I certainly will be now. That's awesome.
Listen to your body. The thing is, our third dimensional brain only allows us to listen and believe in certain things, and it only allows us to react certain ways. Anything that it doesn't understand, it processes as a lie. It never happened. That's why people that see the cryptids, when they think about it in their mind and it's a third dimensional brain, it tells them it doesn't exist. Okay. So the clearest reading on truth or anything that you see or do is the way your body reacts to it, because it's an energy reading. It reacts immediately. So when it reacts, there's a lag time from when your body reacts until it gets to your brain. During that lag time, it gives your brain time to process it as being incorrect. So whenever you get a feeling or a thought, for whatever reason, it just kind of hits you, go with your first gut, because that's an energetic reading. It's not a third dimensional brain reading.
Right.
Got you.
Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah, well, I wanted to say too, for those of you listening out there, if you have questions at any point, drop them in the chat, and we will address them. Ask away.
Yeah, and if I don't know the answer, guys, I have no problem saying I don't know it. So,
because you know, we're just getting started, and it's about to get wild. So
we have fun. We have fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys done with
Yeah, we're
Getting stuff together.
I'm double checking.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
so
I'm done with that part.
okay, I was gonna ask. So as far as the paranormal cryptids, all of it, what's the earliest experience you can remember?
First ET abduction, I remember I was 4. I can remember as far back as 3, right in that area, seeing them looking in the windows as far as the cryptids go. Yeah, I mean, I just don't remember when they weren't there. Like, I don't have any memories before them.
Got it. Well, that's not what I was anticipating.
I made a little tiny mistake here. I didn't get half of them.
I will say this. I remember at age 4 being on the ship, and I wasn't afraid at all. And a 4-year-old should have been afraid. And they kept telling me I'd been there before. So I have to probably agree with them because I was very relaxed. In fact, I told one of the females off. She felt female. I don't know if it was female or not, but I told it off. I was like, you know what? When my mom finds out I'm here and I'm not home in bed, you are in so much trouble. Like, and you don't want to make my mom mad. Like, she'll get really mad.
Okay, so this is kind of a twofer. I didn't realize the last time that we talked that you had actually yourself been abducted at some point. And it's always been like I'm actually going there. They're doing a UFO / otherworldly conference this year in Hockin Hills, and it's the first one, and I'm planning on going to it. But I told the crew, I'm like, I'm gonna go, and I'm getting somebody that's been abducted.
Yeah,
Like, no question, they're coming on the show, and I still have that plan. But that's. Do you remember, like, were you just you're in your room at one point and then you're gone? I mean, how does that?
Well, you have to understand, I have had so many abductions. It's insane. Okay. I've had DNA taken. I've had fetal implants, and then the baby was taken. I mean, that was done 3 times. This has been going on my whole life. The last abduction I had was roughly 2.5 months ago. I've had good ones. I've had bad ones. I've been on the phone talking with contacts that I had, and had a ship land in my yard. I was outside talking, and it was like 9:30 at night. It was dark out, and I literally watched a ship come down in my side yard, and then I don't remember anything. And I was standing in my yard holding my phone, and I'm like, was I on the phone? Like, what just happened? And, called this person back, and they're like, you were there. And then it was just like gone. The phone was dead. And I've had it where the one time it was like I got sucked through a wall and I got levitated up, and I was like, this has got to be a dream. So I'm slapping my arm, I'm pinching myself, going, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And there were 3 beings looking out the windows of the craft. There was one that was floating outside of it. There were Sasquatch underneath me that I was very close with, and still am to this day. And they helped get me back. And when they got me back, it was like I was brought back down, went back through this wall or whatever the hell that was, landed on my bed so hard I hit my head and went backwards. I had to go to the hospital the next day, and I had a concussion from it. I've had some where I was taken and things were done to me where it was almost like I was medicated. I came home, I had scratches on me, I had a hole in my neck where the needle went in. I was groggy all day long. I mean, I've come back with physical evidence. It's not like, oh, she just had a bad dream.
Gotcha.
Well,
yeah, I mean, that's
the amount that I've had is ridiculous. I actually met somebody that when I was abducted at one point, there was a woman there, and she was like in this trance, and I remembered her. Years later, I met her because of Sasquatch stuff, and she looked at me and I looked at her, and she remembered me and I remembered her. So, and a lot of these things, these ships and stuff, I've had people with me sometimes, not when I was taken, but when the ships were actually in the yard. I had this one little, I kept calling it a scouting ship. It was like a little pod, and it came down in my front yard, and it left this mark on the ground, and it was like that for 2 or 3 years before it finally grew back.
Well, and I don't know if you're seeing Tets. Welcome back, Tets, by the way.
Yeah.
He said he had to get a tumor removed. He's had a lot of UFO activity. What's up, Landa?
Hey, Landa.
But so have you ever, with these experiences, I mean, have they ever given you any notion were you just random? I mean, did they?
It's not random. They've been taking me since the time I was born. I wish I knew why. What I will say is they've taken a lot of DNA out of me, a lot. And usually I get the little triangular marks afterwards. But also, most of these people that they abduct are high frequency people. And as far as the tumors and stuff, what causes that, and it can also happen when you're around cryptids a lot, that frequency, even when we raise our frequency, it is not at a level that you will get from an alien or from any kind of cryptid. Theirs is at a much higher dimensional level. The Sasquatch themselves, okay, and I've worked on the DNA study with that, with Dr. Melba Ketchum, and I'm now working on the cryptid DNA study with her as well. The frequency that these things have affects our third dimensional bodies, just like radiation. If you take one of those little meters up to a live one, it will pop radiation. It will do the same thing if they are deceased. It will still show radiation. So when you have people that have a lot of activity with the aliens or with the cryptids, you notice a lot of health issues if they have a lot of constant contact, anywhere from tumors to autoimmune diseases. I have an autoimmune disease. Could it be from something else? Absolutely. People get sick all the time, except mine is supposedly hereditary. Nobody in my family's ever had it, but whatever. But the thing of it is it does cause damage. Now, what I tell people and what I do, once I was aware of it, they don't do it on purpose. This notion that they can put diseases with you inside of you is nonsense. They don't do that. It goes against a pact that they have with God. They couldn't do it. They can't do it. So what happens is it's exposure. Portals. This is why they say don't go in the portals. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. It's very high frequency. It affects our body like radiation. I have gone through a portal, not because I was a willing participant, but because I didn't know that's what they wanted me to do. They said, touch a bush. I did it. Next thing I know, I'm somewhere else. But the thing of it is all of the cryptids and the aliens radiate it from their body. Okay. For anybody that watched the Peanuts, you know, there's that kid, Pigpen, and he had the dust cloud that followed him everywhere. It's kind of the same thing. They don't even know that they're doing it. When you are working with them, and I had to do this a couple of years ago. I had one that came up like, I don't know, a foot, 2 foot away from me. And I was talking with him, and the energy, especially the ones, the more that they use the paranormal abilities, the stronger the frequency, was so intense. I felt like I had a weighted blanket on top of me. And I finally just had to tell him, you know what, you're welcome to be here if you come with peace, but you've got to pull the energy back. Unfortunately, we are high frequency beings that live in a third dimensional body. Our bodies are just containers. They're worthless. Okay. We have a third dimensional brain and a third dimensional body, and our frequency and our energy, our soul, our consciousness, those are all high frequency things. Your body is third dimensional. That's why it needs sleep. It needs food. It needs liquids. When it goes to sleep at night, your soul and your consciousness are flying all over the place. That's why we get up so tired sometimes. But because of that third dimensional body, the frequency that comes off of these things is really very hard on us. Once in a while, it's not a big deal. But if you're out in the woods with them every day, if you're interacting every day, it's a whole different ballgame. And if you've been abducted and you've been with them for a long time, you can also have effects from it.
Have you ever done any tests, like when you've gotten, like, have you ever tested yourself for radiation or anything, like after these experiences?
I have not. What I do now when I'm out in the woods with them, I tell them that my third dimensional body can't handle it. I need them to pull the energy back. I do healing work on them as well, and I can get through the radiation wall that they have, but it's stronger, you know, if they pull it back. So I generally will ask them to pull it back. And I would say for every 10 that I've asked, 8 would absolutely pull it back for me. when I had the one that was a foot or two from me and it felt so heavy. I was like, just all I'm asking you to do is pull it back. You can keep it up a little to keep yourself safe, but it's too much for me. And they generally will. Like, they're not trying to hurt anybody with it, but that frequency that they have is how they zap people. You know, I mean, that's basically what they do. They're pulling it up in a ball. They pick their target. They project it to that target, and whatever they want to have happen to that target happens. I have had people standing next to me, shoulder to shoulder, and have them drop to the ground. Repeatedly, I've had this happen where they've got zapped. I'm not anything special. Okay. They just decided I wasn't what they were going to zap. They wanted that as a target. They can pinpoint it down to perfection.
So, okay. That's a lot to unpack. I'm thinking. So, go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to address. With Nick. It's I know he put that in the chat there a while ago about sometimes the UFOs, they'll just flash at him, and that's
Communication.
That's the interesting thing. You know, it's and I know you've had all these experiences as well, Robin. You and I've talked. I'll just go ahead and say, Tully, that there have been times whenever Robin and I have been talking on the phone and we get disconnected.
Oh yeah.
We just get disconnected.
Oh yeah. They don't like the topic. They shut us down. You know, and the thing of it is I've got phone taps. I have 2 phones. I have a phone tap on both of them. So if the government's not shutting me down, the cryptids are, the ETs are. And Steven's so cute. He's sitting there with this grin on his face because he's like, I know how weird she is. I'm watching everybody's face and head explode.
Honestly, she makes me feel more normal.
Me too, actually. Now that you say that, this is making me feel like a normie to not.
Yeah, exactly. You guys can call me anytime. Like, it's not like I'm not approachable. Ask Steven. I usually answer the phone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just send me a text so I know it's you. Because if I don't recognize the number, I don't answer it. But you can call me anytime.
Oh man. Okay. So as far as maybe something cool to get into would be like categorization. So I'm assuming that the things that have taken you are not the same things that you always encounter in the woods.
No.
And
not
so
at
on
all.
and so forth. Do you believe that any of these things ever lived the way that we have, like in the third dimension? Like, have they ascended from that?
No.
Or have they always been that?
There is a group of grays, and I have heard rumors that there might have been some other kind of aliens as well, but they claim, and I'll be honest with you, when I first heard about it maybe 20, 30 years ago, I thought, oh, that's a bunch of crap. I tend to believe it now. I've learned a lot over the years, and they claim that they are us in the future after we've done all the intelligent things that we do, like blowing each other up with nuclear warheads.
Yes.
And doing all the other fun things. And so there are some that claim to be us in the future. Now, the thing that's very interesting about that is our world, whether anybody likes it or not, is a matrix. It really is. It is a matrix. And we have multiple planes. So the show that we're doing tonight in other planes has already happened. And in other planes, it hasn't happened yet. So we have all these very different planes. And so is it possible that some of them are us in the future? Absolutely. They also claim that that particular group of grays can't reproduce because of the nuclear explosions, and it's damaged them.
Okay.
They also, most of your ETs, and I'm not saying all of them because obviously I don't know every species there is, and there's thousands. There's 1,000 different grays. There's 1,000 different reptilians. And just for the record, they are not all bad guys. They really aren't. Like, we have a lot of Palladian ships right now that are around, and they're here for good. There's some things that are going to go on, and everybody will find out when it goes on, but it is for the good. Okay. Our people are not really evolved enough to understand it. They'll probably find a way to do something stupid with it, but it is really for the good. Now, we have a lot of wonderful, smart, loving people on this planet, so I don't want them to feel like I'm coming down on everybody. But we also have some people that, can cause some issues. But some of the grays, and, I've encountered several different kinds of grays, The last abduction I had was like 2.5 months ago. And what was really weird with that is normally there's one kind of alien on the ship. Sometimes I'll get the tall grays and the small grays on the same ship, but usually that's it. And this was so bizarre to me because there was just all different kinds of them, all different kinds, and nobody hurt me, for the record. I would say 75% of my encounters, I'm not hurt. There are some that are really bad. I have only been paralyzed and put in that paralyzed state once from them, and they have not tried it again. Energy and frequency, guys, you can use to protect yourself, just saying. And I was laying in bed. I was wide awake at the time. I was married then. I'm not now. And my spouse was laying next to me. The dogs were laying on the bed. And I was watching TV. Next thing you know, I've got a couple of aliens at my feet. And then I had a taller one next to my bed. And I could not move. I was 100% paralyzed. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. And of course, you start to panic. I'm claustrophobic. So, pinning me down is never a good thing. And you start to panic. And they put this thing on my head. It was like an upside down colander with tentacles. It was very cold. It was very slimy. And these tentacles were alive. And it's like whooping all over my face. I've got slime all over my face. I'm feeling like I can't breathe. So now I'm starting to panic. Okay. For anybody that knows me, I run a paranormal business. I teach paranormal classes. I also teach how to use energy and frequency, not only to make your life better, but if you need to blow something up in a higher frequency, you can. Now, just like the Sasquatch, they can zap, they can throw it. You can also do these things and never move a muscle. And so as I started to panic, I was like, okay, practice what you preach. Like, quit teaching everybody. You know what to do. So I had to mentally take myself out of the situation, build up that energy and frequency in my body and shoot it out from all sides. When I did that, the two at the end of the bed went backwards and then they were gone. And the one on the side of me, that thing took off out of there. And they've never come back, by the way. Okay. So we can do things. We are not these frail, unpowerful beings that we're led to believe, that what our government has always wanted us to think that we are. We have a lot more power than we think. We may not be as powerful as they are. We can pack a punch when necessary. And those have never come back. And the next day, all I got from the Sasquatch, because I was like, okay, I have guards that are generally running around my yard all the time. And I'm like, who's sleeping? Who is sleeping on the job? And they were like, you didn't give them information. You didn't tell them, because they kept telling me they wanted the information. That's what that thing was on my head. I don't know what this information is. I've had aliens come after me for it. I have had bad Sasquatch come after me for it. I've had government come up after me for it. It is embedded in my brain. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is.
You are the beacon.
I don't know. I know that whatever I am, I have been shot at. I've had my brakes cut. I've had the lug nuts taken off of my car. I have had an alien show up on my doorstep that there was witnesses to and tell me that I needed to rethink things, and they were there to help me make better decisions. And I was like, what kind of decisions? Are you selling me life insurance or what? And they said, we contacted you. You didn't respond. And I said, well, how did you contact me? Email, text, phone calls, carrier pigeons. Did you put it on a frog's butt and it hopped by? What? And it wouldn't tell me. It just kept staring at me. They're like, we contacted you. And I said, well, if you thought you contacted me by mind speak, I don't listen. I didn't listen to my parents. Why am I going to listen to you? And it was just like, you need to make better decisions. And I'm like, I'm perfectly fine with my decisions, not changing anytime soon. But it was definitely there. There were people that saw it besides myself. Whatever the heck it was supposed to look like a human. They did a very poor job of making it look like a human. No human has arms that long or that skin color. The car that it came in had no license plate, blacked out windows, and it not only pulled into my driveway, it went and parked behind trees so that it could not be seen by the road. That is not normal.
It's like the not deer, except not human. Listen.
Exactly. Yeah. And, it was definitely a unique situation. but, and I say this over and over, and I know everybody out there gets tired of me saying it. Guys, I cannot stress to you enough. Energy and frequency is everything. And as we move forward with this planet, you're going to realize just how important it is, because everything is going to be based by it.
So what do you think comes next in the way of disclosure?
We are going to get disclosure, that I'm told, unless they change it again. So what I'm telling you as far as the disclosure is subject to change. I know that there is a plan in July to start the disclosures, July 8th, whether or not that will go off on time, because we've got a lot going on globally, and that affects our timelines for things. So we'll see if it goes off in July, the way it's planned. I do know that there's supposed to be a speech that's just going to acknowledge Roswell, give us a little bit of info. I don't expect it to be anything major. I think it's what we already pretty much knew, but it's an admittance of it. That will be the start. There are like 6,000 patents with ET technology sitting and waiting for us. When those will come out, that's above my pay grade. Nobody's going to tell me. But I do know within the next few years that a lot of it will. I personally am thrilled. Okay. I don't think people realize that we have had a lot of alien interference for the better. And we actually need to be grateful. Okay. Are there bad ones? Absolutely. 100%. I've dealt with them. Okay. I have been put in intensive care because of the bad aliens before. So yeah, I'm fully aware. I have a son that I buried because of a bad alien. And so I am very well aware of how bad the bad ones can be. But like the cryptids, there is more good than bad. And I do want to point out that, one, I am far more afraid of our humans than I will ever be of the aliens or the cryptids. And we do worse things than what they could ever think of. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
For the first time in forever, my computer has hit a wall. I've had to email everything to Tolly.
I mean, I've had aliens tell me, and this was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, tell me how they take possession, how the bad ones take possession of people. And they're like, you got to get the word out. You got to get the message out. Nobody's going to believe me. I'm a nobody. Nobody is going to believe me. Like, I can tell people, what good does it do? Because they're going to think I'm nuts and they're not going to believe me anyway. And I'm okay with that. Like I said before, I know when I go to bed and I put my head on my pillow, God knows I've never lied about any of this. I know I've never lied about it. So I'm good with anybody that doesn't believe me. All I ask is I try to be respectful of everybody, and I ask them to do the same with me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair. It's just like anything else. It's like any other fringe topic. Like there's people who are always going to be dissenters, because they're just not open to that kind of thing. They're not even open to real world conspiracy, let alone, the fringe sort of things like this.
And talking about the dissenters, it's because that somebody didn't have the same experience that you've had, or all the experiences that you've had, or other people have had those experiences. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen because it cannot fit into their box that they have. So, I'll speak on behalf of some other people that I know who, in the beginning they were all flesh and blood, and they will openly admit that they're a lot more woo than what they used to be.
As this frequency shift happens and everybody's frequency raises, where the truth lies is in the frequency. I have a saying that I put up, and I don't advertise my business. Like, I'll talk about it on shows, word of mouth, and I'm good with that. I don't care if anybody knows my name. I care about people getting the correct information. I quit doing shows eons ago after I did the conference in Siberia. And I started doing shows again 7-8 years ago because the cryptids asked me to put their information out that was true. And when they tell me not to do it anymore, then I'm gone for good. But for right now, this is what they wanted me to do. But when this shift goes on, it puts people in a higher frequency. The truth is in the frequency. And I have this saying that I came up with, and I said, within the frequency, energy, and light, you find yourself. Those aren't just words. It's the truth. And when I have people, I have people in their 80s come to me, and they're like, I don't know why I'm drawn to you. I don't know why I'm supposed to have contact with you, but I am. And I start to teach them this stuff, and they're like, this makes sense. Like, I can wrap my head around it because this adds up. It makes sense. And it's because we really are a higher frequency being. But the people that stay in that third dimension, the third dimensional brain doesn't allow that truth to come in. It blocks it because it goes out of the paradigms of what's in the square of that brain. And that's okay. So when I get people that are in that third dimensional state, I don't think badly of them. I don't think anything either way. When the time is ready, when their frequency raises, then they can acknowledge it, because you can't acknowledge it in the third dimension. Trauma patients, I work with trauma patients, and they will come to me and they're like, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to therapists. Whatever. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be. But what I do know is this: if you have trauma, a third dimensional brain cannot deal with it. It's too much. It's too overwhelming for a third dimensional brain. When you get into the higher frequency, you know who you are more than you've ever known in your life. When you're in that higher frequency is when the healing starts. So people that have memories that are blocked out or displaced or whatever, or if they do have memories and they can't come to terms with it, once they learn how to use the frequency and the energies and they get higher, it's a very easy transition for them to deal and cope, because we are very limited in that third dimensional brain. And I have clients that get their memories back and they can deal with it. I have clients that already have their memories, but now they can deal with it because they feel more like themselves than they ever had before. So that empowers them to be able to deal with it.
Yeah. So with you working with them, instead of having to go under hypnosis, you're able to bring it out of them.
Absolutely. I have some that will come to me and they'll say, I have memories of my childhood that are blacked out, and I know something bad happened. Can you tell me what it is? Well, yeah, I'm a psychic, so I can. But am I going to? No, I'm not. Because in a third dimensional brain, you're not able to cope with it. I will never do anything that's going to put somebody in harm's way. I won't do it. It's not ethical. It's not something morally that I agree with. But what I will do is I will teach them how to get to the higher frequencies and the higher energy, so they feel more like themselves. They realize who and what they actually are, that they become balanced energetically, because you have to have 1 foot in the third dimension, 1 foot in the paranormal world. And then when they get to that place, their memories come back on their own. I don't have to slam dunk it into them or frighten them in any way, shape, or form. And then they can come to terms with it. And it's a much easier transition, and they flourish from it rather than be fearful of it and have all this trauma. It's the exact opposite.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
Well, for people that, are like, well, I haven't had all the experiences you've had, or, well, I've only had one little thing. I just saw one cross the road. Please know that person that just saw somebody cross the road is every bit as valuable as somebody that's had 1,000,001 experiences. We are all part of a collective. One piece shy of that collective means we still aren't complete. Okay. So it's like a 5,000 piece puzzle, and all 4,999 people may have massive experiences. And that one person that just saw something cross the road and wasn't even sure what it was, we're not complete without you.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. Nobody is more important than anybody else. There's no ego in the higher frequencies, and there's no, oh, I'm better than you are. That doesn't exist there.
Got you.
I agree
So
with
you're
that.
being
I've
awful
been
quiet.
I've been fighting with audio issues for 56 minutes. I've been trying. It's weird. Whenever I have somebody else, whenever we have anybody that's legit on the show, my stuff crashes. Like, legitimately. It's nuts. like it's.
Does that mean I passed the truth test?
Oh yeah, you always did, because we have receipts. I mean, you have receipts too. I've had to send them to Tully because I cannot get them to work on this expensive ass system.
Yeah, you look like you're at like 300 pixels
Yeah,
right now.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But yeah, we can. I've got, and I'll share the whole. He emailed me a big file of stuff, and it's going to be really small. I know, Robin, on your phone, but I could just start at the top and full screen it and roll through them.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
if we want
forget
to
a
start with
computer. The government's blown them up too many times.
I don't know if you want to start with I don't know if you want to start with the video or not. The video is pretty creepy.
Yeah, we can start with the.
Yeah, you can do the video. This video, you guys, was taken from my front porch. That little house type shaped thing is actually my well house. This is a Palladian ship that was out. It went by my house. What you're seeing dispelled from the back, that red flash, is one of the UFOs that it discharged out the back of it. Up close, you could see the colorful lights, and I've got some pictures that I'm sure the guys will put up of the close-ups of the ships. It actually discharged two ships, the red one that you're seeing and then a black one. And so I was able to pull those photos out, and I did send the photos over, so we'll see those as well. This is just the side of my yard. This is from the front porch. We get a lot of activity.
I want to point something out because naysayers will say that the red light is a tower. It's not a tower because you can look at it directly, and it's not one light; it's two.
It can't be a tower. It's moving. Oh, it's moving. Like you
I'm
can.
talking about the red light right there.
Oh, I got you.
But if
Yeah,
you
and
look
I live in
closer-
the middle of a pine tree forest. We don't have towers. And I do want to point out again that MUFON went over this footage with a fine-tooth comb and sent a message back to us saying this is not terrestrial. There was nothing in the airspace that night.
Yeah, I mean it can't be. It's nuts. And I know the black thing you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm somebody that I'm up until like I've always believed, but I've never seen anything. You know what I mean? In the last 2 or 3 years, am I cutting it out?
No, I was just gonna say, look at this point.
Yeah.
When we start at the beginning again, you're gonna see what Cecil was saying. People would think would be a tower.
It's
This
the
is over here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the red light moves. It's just at a slower pace than this.
Yeah, it follows the ship.
That's nuts.
You know, you can even use that pump house or wall house for reference.
Yeah. So I'm until the last 2 years, I've never seen anything, and I practice with a boy that lives out in the middle of nowhere, and like there's really low light pollution and everything, and we was looking up in the sky, and we seen something that looked like a black thing in the sky, and I was like, "What is that?" Like you could barely see it, but when it would go across like stars and stuff, you seen the little outline.
Yeah, and see, use the pump house as reference. Look where it's at now. It's moving.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I had one night, this was, God, about 8 months ago. I was looking outside, and I'm in the middle of a pine tree forest, thousands of acres of pine trees. And there was literally a red glowing craft that went down in the woods right behind my property. And I was like, whatever.
What's out this way? Like a garage or something?
No, that is actually my next door neighbor.
Got it.
And God bless her beautiful soul. This woman has had Sasquatch walking through her property, walking it by her, you know, stealing stuff off her porch. I warned her 3 months after I moved in. I'm like, I just feel like I need to warn you that this is going to happen. And then it did. And she's like, I'm so glad you told me first.
Dude, that's crazy. What's up, Ender?
Yeah, with
Okay.
with Robin, I've two different times I've seen that one with the different lights on it, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But what I've seen in the past 5 years, they've all pretty much look more like a white light. And
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
Sometimes they will just flash.
If you want to finish the UFO ones, they're down in those bars.
Yeah.
Yeah. That video is wild looking. I mean,
yeah.
Now, if you're on the bottom bar and you go from the left, the fourth one and fifth one, those are the blowups of the ships. Yep.
Whoa, that's not good. Cecil, how did you embed these? These aren't
There you
Okay,
go.
see, you can see the windows in the shape of the craft. It's not a tower.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's insane looking. Like
hmm
it's wild.
Yep.
Wow.
hmm
okay.
It almost looks like a face in a way, but you
Yeah.
can see like it's almost unexplainable. Like we preference it by what we know, but what's that going to look like to somebody in another 100 years? When
Yeah.
we get more information
Right.
on what it is.
Okay, this is the main craft that dispelled the other two. You can see where the lights go around it. The
Mhm.
reason it looks blurry around it, again, guys, frequency, energy. These things they move on frequency and energy.
Well, like it almost, the radiation glow. It kind of
Yep.
looks like that.
Yeah, because that's basically what they use.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Well, you want to
Yeah.
see something freaky? Go back out. I'll tell you which one to do next. Okay, if you go to the bar above it, go 2 in from the left and click on that one.
This one?
Yep. Okay. The top ring is a UFO. It's a three dots. It's a triangle. This is outside my garage. Underneath of it, in that white light, in the 2 o'clock or in the 11 o'clock position, is a head coming out. In the frame next to this one, you guys, it's a blow up of that. You can see a face.
Wow.
This was in a portal that opened up underneath the craft.
Mhm.
Yeah. I see.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
See the
So-
face? Yeah,
it's-
welcome to my world.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. Look, it's top left.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
that is kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I sent the one. There's a beam that went down on my bedroom during one of the abductions, but I don't know if that got sent over or not.
Let me go back and look. I may need to resend it.
Where do you want to go next, Robin?
Anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
I mean, the receipts that you have, like we talked
I'll-
about this last time. Like
Yeah.
For a sec.
people come on and we've been talking for an hour, and I'm sure people's like, yeah, whatever. And then you have the receipts. It's like, here it is. Like it's nuts.
Mhm.
It's wild.
And I do want to point out that on a lot of my cryptid, not all, but a lot of my cryptid encounters, I'm not by myself. There's been other people that have seen it.
Telly, I just sent it to you in email.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Forget it.
I don't know, like what you said at the very beginning of the show with like we're moving into a new age. I wonder if that has something to do with like I hate to be the person that's like me, but for years I wanted to see something. I wanted to see stuff, and I never
Sure.
did. In the last couple of years, like I haven't really seen a lot, but I'm starting to hear things. I have seen things that I thought was something.
Well, your
So-
frequency's up. When your frequency is high, you tend to see things in what I call the paranormal spectrum. When you have a lower frequency, you see things in the third dimension. That's all you see. When your frequency goes up, and yours would because of this show. Yeah, that's the beam from the craft that went on my bedroom right before I was taken. And the security camera got it. And so with you doing this show, it opens your mind to all possibilities. And so that raises your frequency. As your frequencies go up, you start looking at things, your eyes change. You see things in what I call the paranormal spectrum, which means that you will see things moving through the trees that in a third dimension, your brain isn't going to allow you to believe is real. So now you're thinking and looking through your consciousness. Your consciousness allows all things. So you start to hear more, you start to think more, your ears change, you pick up noises you didn't get before, your vision changes, your thought processes change. It's because you're working through the collective consciousness and not a third dimensional brain.
I will say that it is pretty accurate with the frequencies. The first half of my life, I lived in a pretty low frequency life. But I've tried to work on that. But I've always believed in recently, you know, when we went to get water, we was talking about this last night. We collect our water. We always went toward the edge of night. I won't go back toward the edge of night anymore because of what I heard.
Yeah.
And like we
And
went
water
to,
is a frequency too.
yeah, and we went to one of the falls around here last weekend or something, and we was walking out and we started hearing whoop whoop woo, like stuff like that. And my wife was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Shh, shh, just keep going." And when we
Just walk away.
when we was
Walk
walking
away.
out, when we was walking out, the whole time I was thinking, I was like, "Please let there be another car in this parking lot. Please let there be another car in this parking lot." And there was not another car there. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Robin, I know that beam of light that you had was coming from the sky. But
Yeah,
I know we shared this the week before last or something, but I'm gonna send it to you again just because I just want Robin's opinion on this one right here, if you can pull it up.
Yeah.
and a lot
Yeah,
of
just
these
email.
beams,
Because they were
just
the
so you
same here.
know, the beams that come down like that, not all of them, but a large portion of them are transporter beams. They can put beams down onto the ground or they can pull something up. They also use a lot of those when they are taking the animals that they use to create hybrids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, that.
Yeah.
Okay. Human hybrids. What thoughts? Do you think
Oh,
they
yeah.
exist?
Well, actually, I know for a fact they do because that's what the Sasquatch is a human hybrid. And I will say this,
Oh, wow.
before I met Dr. Ketchum and worked with the study, the reason I met Dr. Ketchum is I was outside, and most people that have ever seen anything I'm on know that I used to go outside every night at 2 a.m. by myself with the Sasquatch that were around on my property. I don't recommend it. And I mean, I didn't have anybody out there with me. I went out every night. Other than my kids knew I was going out there because they would see me walk out there with them. But you know, it was really stupid. I could have gotten hurt. My group was really kind. I didn't have a problem. Oh, okay. So you've got a beam that's going into the orbs.
Yeah.
That would be transporting. That would be a transporter.
You see the Bigfoot back there in the back. That's not a stump back there, almost dead center
Yeah.
of the picture. That's
Yeah.
a Bigfoot.
That's a
squatted
really
down.
good picture. Actually,
Yeah.
those orbs actually look like they might be a portal. You know, portals can be temporary. They can be movable. They can also be locked down.
Yeah.
You know, we did a show and tell the other week. So
That's a good picture.
just like Cecil said, I also had an orb experience.
Yeah.
At
Yes.
it was around 2 a.m. All of my experiences have also been at 2 a.m. because that's usually about what time I'm getting tired. So I'm usually letting the dogs out. The last couple times that I've had something weird go on, it's when I'm letting the dogs out, and whatever happens. And then I'm like, okay, come inside. I don't have time for this. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Let's go. I'm ready for bed. But it was an orb, and there's a big pond behind the house. So I see the orb, and then the next morning the pond is drained, and the drain structure cracked, like for the pond, and the whole pond drained out.
Probably because of the pressure from the frequency when they're out there.
Actually
Like if
makes
there's a craft out there, it radiates such frequency. And just for anybody that ever gets up close to the Sasquatch, again, all that frequency on a third dimensional body or a third dimensional object, like the piping for that drain, it can cave it in.
I only have a still rather. But I do have a video. I need to get that video on this computer. It's on a different computer at the moment. But it looks to me like, you know, those jaw breakers that are different.
Yeah, look at the layers in it.
Yeah.
Look at the layers. You get the layers from the frequency radiating around it.
When I saw it initially, I thought that
That's fantastic.
I thought it was a star originally, and then I realized it was moving, and it was like, it was brighter than the North Star, maybe a little less dull than a full moon, but definitely emanating light and moving pretty slow across the sky. But that was one of those nope moments where I'm just like, okay, get in the house. Like I don't have time to deal with this.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, tell me that LiDAR picture that I have. It's Earthworks. So,
yes,
possibly Earthworks. Were ancient people seeing that, and they were making on the ground what they were seeing in the sky?
probably.
I would think.
Part of what they were doing?
Yeah. You know, people don't pay enough attention to the cave drawings and the things that are painted, like in the tombs in Egypt and the pyramids and things on the ground. I mean, there's a connection to all of it. They're not random.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
You know, but
it's I don't know. It's
you know,
with that-
I would go out with them. What I was going to say is I go out with them at night. And I said to them one night, I said, you know, there's 3 of them in my side yard. And I was standing probably about 25, 30 feet away. And I said, I'm so tired. I get overwhelmed by Facebook, like, because I'm an empath. I do. I'm an empath and I'm an intuitive. I'm psychic. I'm a lot of different things. And I can pick up things so easily by a text, by a word. It doesn't have to be a person I'm talking to. And I get on Facebook and I do what I've got to do and I get off because it's overwhelming. The energy, the hate, the disdain, the arguments, I can't take it. I just can't take it.
1400.
And so I said to them one night, I said, everybody is fighting over you. First off, they're arguing about your cloaking. So then they explained how they did it. I said, okay. Then I said, and what are you? Like, you know, when I was 3 and 4, I thought you were an animal because they had hair. They don't have fur, they have hair. There's a difference. And I said, but I know that's not what you are. They speak, they have their own language, they have their own laws, they have their own culture. You know, they have their own alphabet. They have all of these things. They have their own traditions. And I said, what are you? And they laughed and they said, well, they pointed to me and they said, human like you. And then they pointed to the sky and they said, star people. So I asked a couple other different clans. And then there's one that I work with that's in a southern state. I'm not going to give location. And I asked him and he said, well, no, we're human like you and we're children of God. Okay, I can believe that too. Because if you think about it, in the Bible, it said God created the heavens and the earth. And he also created everything in between, which means he created the multiverse, the galaxies, the other planets, which means he also created the ETs. Like it or not, it's a fact. The thing is that we are all created with free will. So there's going to be good and bad in everything. There has to be good and bad in everything. Because if you have only good, the only way to keep that utopia good is to do bad things to anybody that tries to go against it, which makes you back to the old good and bad. And you can't learn, which is what we were put here to do, if you don't have good and bad and free will. So they had told me what they were. And then they told me that there was a woman with blonde hair that knew the truth. And they wanted me to find her and help her. I didn't know about the study. I didn't know about Melba Ketchum. I didn't know anything. So somebody I was talking to said, oh yeah, Dr. Melba Ketchum's doing a study on them. I said, okay. He said, you know, get hold of her. And I said, she's going to think I'm nuts, you know? And he said, well, I've talked to her before. And I said, well, tell her if she wants my help. I don't know how I can help her. I'm not a scientist, above my pay grade. She can reach out to me. And she did. And I did get DNA from them. And I had been working with her about 6 weeks. And she called and she said, you are the only one that's not asked me for the results. And I said, I don't need you to tell me the results. They told me what they were, and they said it matched yours. She said, what did they tell you? And I told her, and she said, well, for us, scientifically, they're human hybrids. The mother side has human in it. The father side is unknown. And I said, well, of course it's unknown because you don't have access to any DNA from an alien. So that's why it's listed as unknown on the study. And that's why it stays that way. But coming from them, that is how it goes. Whether you want to consider it an alien, an angel, or whatever, it's all going to boil down to the same thing. And they are human hybrids.
Okay. So what about okay, it's same vein, little bit different. The government came out and said that there's non-human biologics living in the ocean.
Yeah.
Do you think there's also human hybrids? Like, are there many iterations? Like, do you
Absolutely.
think
There's huge underground alien bases in the ocean.
That's actually.
Massive.
I'm glad you brought that up. Have you heard about the guy in Florida that said that he was
I
abducted?
did.
Like,
You know what? It was so funny. I heard that and I thought, oh my God, how crazy is that? And then I got thinking about it. Number one, I never discount anybody's things. Like if I do a psychic reading on him, I can tell you or whatever. But the thing about this guy, I would love to say, guys, it's the goofiest thing I've ever heard. Unfortunately, I've seen too damn much. I can't rule out anything. And what I will say is there are cities underground. There are alien cities underground. We don't know. And if this is legit and this person is really an engineer, as they say, I'm not going to rule it out. I just can't. Like, I've had so many people ask me, and I know everybody wants me to say, oh, just laugh it off because it's a joke. And it could be. I'm not going to say there isn't. But the thing is, the truth doesn't change. And this man's story has never changed.
Yeah. And the thing about it, too, is people have witnessed the FBI in the area that he got spawned in. They've witnessed helicopters. They've witnessed, like, people diving. So somebody's taking it serious.
And what they pulled out of his lungs has been documented as only being able to get into his system from a very, very deep water. Okay. And for him to get down deep enough to get that in his lungs, he could not have held his breath that long. And if he held his breath, it wouldn't have gotten in his lungs. So something has gone on.
So what? So based on that, what do you think that is? Do you think that's tied into all this, like some kind of hybrid creature like that?
I don't think the man's a hybrid creature. And I think, there's always been something really mystical about a dolphin anyway. There's a reason that wild dolphins you're not allowed to have contact with.
Yes.
Why is that?
They stopped doing the
such a big
births.
deal?
The births with dolphins. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah. Why is that? There's so many unknowns. And honestly, there's so many secrets buried in the government that we will never get the truth on all of it. I know we've got a lot of disclosures coming and there have been some, but there's some we're never going to get, even if we want it. So, I got to be honest, when I heard it, I laughed and I thought, I kind of blew it off. And then as I'm listening to it, I'm not going to give it 100% my stamp that it's legit, but I will absolutely not turn down the possibility thereof because I feel like there's too much evidence to just toss it aside as not being true.
I think I've heard enough to fully believe that there is some human-esque being in the ocean, like that people call mermaids or what have you.
I know the mermaids are real.
I don't know how intelligent they are, because in some accounts you hear them being very like aggressive and almost non-human in the way a shark would be. And then in some accounts, you have a little bit more of a sentient aspect to them. But I do know that there's something. There's a fire where the smoke is.
Yeah, and I absolutely believe in the mermaids. And the reason is I was using mind speak before I could actually talk. And when you get it in a multitude of ways, it's not just words in your head. Okay, there's a lot of ways. I teach mind speak classes. There's a lot of ways to get it. But with me particularly, when I get mind speak, whatever's mind speaking to me, automatically their image pops up and I can see it. And I had, and this was years ago, this was like back in 2013 or 14. That's how long ago it was. And I had something mind speak with me that told me it was a mermaid. And this was so stupid. I never, ever had anything like this happen. Every time this thing would talk to me, I would taste fish. And I hate the taste of fish. I do not like fish. I don't want anything to do with it. But I've never had that happen when I mind spoke with anything else. I never got a taste association with it. But every time it would talk to me, I would get an image of it. And they are not like you see in the fairy tales or, in Little Mermaid. These things are not what you would consider attractive looking.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the last one I saw, it was and here lately, it's been a lot of covert operators, like contractors, like Blackwater type stuff. These people were in the British Navy. They get out of the Navy, they get contracted for a job, they're on a ship, and they're asked to go recover a body. And it's in a cave. So, but it's supposed to be like super, just in and out, no worries, Hakuna Matata. They dive in, they get in the cave, they find the body very easy because it was a big open cavern. And without getting too explicit, the body was the body of a male, and immediately they noticed an object had been inserted into the male, and they immediately were like, "Whoa! Like this looks like a almost like a torture, like a murder."
Yeah,
and then they realized that within this cavern, there's all kinds of like perfectly circular holes. And then they start hearing weird noises, like weird screams almost. And long story short, they recover the body, and one of the divers saw something and would refuse to talk about that for a long time. But, essentially what we would call a mermaid in a way, just a little bit more grotesque than the Little Mermaid.
exactly. And the Sasquatch talk about him. So, there's something there. How would they know about mermaids if they didn't exist?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's so many cryptids out there that we don't even have a name for them because we don't know what the heck they are. The Sasquatch call them a Makaya. A Makaya is a blanket term that means ye that walks the earth that has no name. And for the cryptids that nobody knows what in the world they are, we don't know if they're ET created, government created, because to be honest, the government creates them too, or whether they were born here. We don't know where they came from. We don't know what in the world they are. And so the Sasquatch gave them a blanket term called a Makaya.
That's pretty cool. That's neat. I really like that. And we haven't even tapped into your resources yet. Like, we've not even started showing the pictures of the receipts of interactions either.
Well, I got a question though before we start doing that. Robin, do you believe that we're in some sort of soul trap?
I don't know. I've heard that before. I mean, I know what my path is. I was told what I was supposed to do from the time I was very young by the cryptids. I don't necessarily know that it's a trap. I mean, I believe in the whole soul things. I believe in the twin flames. I believe in the soul connections. I know that we have agreed to certain soul things as far as what we're going to do. I know everybody's soul has a path that it's supposed to go on a journey. And when we don't do what our soul journey is, we end up being very unhappy individuals. Our life does not work out because we're not doing what we were supposed to do. I know what mine is. I've had a few people that I am no longer married to because of it, that wanted me to go against the path that I'm supposed to be on, that wanted me to change me because, I know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I've been like a woman on a mission with this stuff since I was a little kid because I knew early on what mine was. And, a lot of people don't like the journey they're supposed to be on. I consider myself so blessed. I really do. Like, I get to see parts of the world that most people don't even know exist. And the work that I do with people, I meet some of the best humans that anybody could ever be blessed enough to meet. And I don't, yes, I have a business. I'm honored. Like, I feel so blessed that they allow me on the journey. I don't take that for granted. I'm humbled by it, and it's their journey. They're just allowing me to be part of it, of which I will be eternally grateful for. But I don't feel it's a trap. I don't. I know a lot of people do. Maybe it's because that's not been my experience. But I do think that we honor what our soul path is. And when we don't honor that soul path, it becomes problematic. Now, clearly, if you have a soul path that is nefarious and unkind and whatever, that lowers your frequency down and you have problems. You have really big problems. But I don't feel it's a trap. I mean, I think that we enter into this, whatever it is, prior to being born. We may not understand it at first. I consider myself fortunate. I learned my path before I could learn how to do anything else. I mean, I did, but I had a little help. Like, you know, the cryptids were there, the aliens were there. Not everything that I encountered with the aliens was bad. You know, I've had a couple of bad Sasquatch encounters, but I would say 99.9% have been really good. You know, they've saved my life 6 times, so I'll put that in the win category.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where do you think? Okay, I've got a couple more before we get into show and tell. But has anything ever alluded to you the nature of what we live in? Like, are there any of these beings that are, you know, aware of the constructs that we live in? Like, because obviously they have boundaries too. Like they have boundaries that they have to operate in. They can't just be like,
oh yeah, they have laws.
Do they have different perspectives on what we live in, like the plane, if you will?
Well, from what they've told me, is it's a matrix, and it's a frequency journey. If you don't stay in the higher frequency, your path is going to be extremely different. And, you know, we hear talk about the 2 Earths and the Earth is going to split. It could. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I don't think that it's going to be a physical split. I think the higher frequency people will evolve and move forward where the lower frequency don't. And it's going to, I am concerned for the lower frequency because we are in that, you know, that big push upward and they're going to get left behind in it. And I don't know how that's going to affect them. But as far as, excuse me, what you're saying, the only thing they've ever shared with me was the matrix part. And that there are multiple planes, that the Earth as we see it is not as we see it.
Well,
what we see with our 3rd dimensional eye is not reality.
I was kind of picking at that because and earlier you said that at least some of them believe in a higher power.
They're excessively spiritual. Absolutely.
I didn't know if they ever talked about, like, you know, where, like, if they have memories of where they were before they were born, or
some do.
What they
Most of
believe
them,
when they die, you know, like that kind of thing.
well, they evolve. Like when they die, from what I've been told by them, they ascend. Okay. And the ones that use their paranormal abilities have a much longer lifespan. The ones that don't use the paranormal abilities, they have the same life expectancy that we do. Each clan leader determines what their clan is allowed to do. Okay. Other than telepathy, that are, you know, they're all telepathic, but the ones that use the paranormal or the woo, whatever you want to call it, they can live. Their normal lifespan is 300 to 400 years old. I've known some that have claimed to be 900. But what I will say is this: when they pass, they stick around in spirit form. They are very easy to talk to because they stick around in spirit form. They transcend. Now, the ones that stay more in the physical and don't use a lot of the woo, they pass. And just like with our people, you can talk to their ghost or their spirit or whatever. But a lot of them, they go into a hierarchy. And they're a very spiritual being. Okay. We have talked to many that talk about meeting Jesus on another plane and sitting at the base of his throne with him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not just one or two.
That is wild.
Not just one or two clans. It is a lot of them. Everybody's like, oh, they're Nephilim. No. If you call them a Nephilim, you want to see an enraged Sasquatch, call them Nephilim and see if you live afterwards, because they flip. What some clans do say is that they are Eliads, which is not a Nephilim. That is the exact opposite. They went a different direction. Not all will say they're Eliads, but they all claim to be children of God.
Yeah, you're on mute, Cecil.
See, now he's not even allowed to
Yeah.
talk.
But Robin,
I
I think I just had an aha moment. You're talking about that right there, because I remember, back when William and I were gifting and doing that, I would always make a cross on the stump, and because I wanted to put something out there that meant something to me, and I didn't understand it at the time, but I think I do now. And that's they took the cross and they made a parallel, made lines, 2 lines. They were parallel to each other, and they pointed north, slightly northeast. Well, in that part of when you look north from our planet, it looks like it's full of stars, but there's actually a hole where there aren't any stars to the north of the planet.
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing that shows how spiritual they are the braids. Now, a lot of them will tell you, we braid for fun. We like the braids. They're pretty. We like to do this. We like to do that with them. And they will braid some of the horses' manes in a way that it's actually a handle for them to hang on to. So when they get up on the horses, the kids have something to hang on to. But there's also a lot of braids that are done for a different reason. When I asked them what the braids meant, they said there's 3 strands. The middle strand is God, or what they call Tahoe, okay, or Creator, depending on the clan. The middle strand is God. One side strand is their people. The other strand is our people. And they said that it's the coming together of the people.
Wow. That's truly amazing. That's so awesome. I'm speechless in regards to that.
Yeah. Well, I think I've asked all the. Well, hang on. Maybe I got more questions. Because we've touched on cryptids, we've touched on your UFO experiences and abduction experiences. What about, because, I know that in some cases you categorize yourself as a paranormal investigator, or at least like
in
the hemisphere.
People put that on me. You know what? I'm an experiencer. I would love to say that I go out and I investigate all this stuff. It finds me. Like,
you get hit with it. A paranormal victim.
I love it, but now once in a while I'll have somebody get hold of me, a client or a friend or somebody, say, "Oh, come on out and go do this with me," and I'll be okay. It'll be fun. No, this stuff finds me. Just putting it out there. It's not, and I'm grateful. I don't begrudge it, and even the bad stuff that's found me, it's a learning thing, because I now know how to defend myself. Nothing is foolproof, but I can kick ass when need be. And we all can, we just have to know how. So, yeah. But I want to, if I could just take 2 seconds and say something, because this actually means something to not only somebody that contacted me, but also for the dog people, whatever you want to call them. Guys, they're not all bad. They are not all bad. I have had so many good things about them, and they are not all bad. And we do have some in the military that was created. Those can be lethal. Okay. But those are not your normal dog people. Please understand that. There's some that were born on this planet, some that are the Anubis kind. And, there's all different shapes of them. Has it occurred to anybody? Maybe it depends on what canine it's been crossed with.
Yeah, that's
okay. We don't all look alike. We don't all look alike, depending on what our parents look like, our grandparents. It could very well, cat people. Okay. A mula, which she lives across the road from me. She's a cat person. She's like a hairless cat. The Lyrians, they have hair, they have a mane because they were crossed with lions. Just be careful we don't pigeonhole them into a certain category. Are there bad dogmen? Yes, absolutely. There are bad Sasquatch. There are bad humans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I keep comparing it, but I stand up for the dogmen all the time. And I actually was blessed by someone that contacted me with a beautiful message from them, thanking me for that. They are not everything negative that everybody thinks. Okay. Be respectful. They are very stoic. They have certain rules, just like everybody else does. It's a different culture. That's all it is. If you're respectful, if you give them their space, get out of their way, let them do what they're supposed to do. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so carry on. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because we hadn't really talked about them.
That's
Well,
really
I-
insightful, because
Yeah.
I mean it's absolutely accurate. Everything that lives, I believe, carries some kind of soul with it.
Mhm.
And if these
Yeah.
creatures and these cryptids and these beings carry a soul, then they're going to be similar to us. Not everybody's awful.
No.
I would venture to say that when it comes to who's got more people that are awful, it'd be us.
Yeah, agreed, totally. And I'll tell you something. Again, the dog people, very spiritual, very, very spiritual.
Yeah. Well, Robin, while we're talking on the subject of dog man, we have a Landa. She's always here in chat.
Oh yeah.
And her dog man, after she told me about her dog man experience, her dog man has stopped showing up. so I guess that one is shy. So.
Yeah, shy. And just because you're not seeing them doesn't mean they're not there. I have a friend who had one that's, followed her around for decades, and she never even knew it was there. And I have one of my students has got a phenomenal relationship with the dog people behind her place. So, and she never knew they were there either.
Yeah, the dog men, they don't all look alike either. They
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, we don't know which kind of dog people. I have one that I got a picture, and he was half cloaked, but you could see the shape of him. His head looked like a hyena, like a short snouted hyena, and hyenas are not canine, but that's what he looked like. And then I've had others that were German Shepherd type. I've had others that had the pit bull type. Not one of those have ever tried to do anything to me. And they used to come right up on my porch. They still do now and then, but I just haven't had that problem. Like, I found footprints for them outside my house. Nobody did anything. I'm not saying there's not bad ones. There absolutely is. And they are not going to put up with nearly as much crap as a Sasquatch will. I'm just telling you. They have a very short, not I want to say a short fuse, but, dogs are a regular dog guards. He protects. Okay. They stay in packs. Of course, all animals are high frequency and all animals are telepathic, but the dogmen don't put up with as much as the Sasquatch do, I guess, and they're more stoic. Some of them have a wicked sense of humor, but the Sasquatch are like the Jack Benny of the cryptid world, okay? Pranks are number one on their list, joking around, thinking it's funny, farting on you, they think it's hysterical. That's a big deal. Okay, they're like toddlers. Think of Animal House. Okay,
Yeah.
That's kind of where they're at.
Yeah.
Speaking of
There's-
animals.
Aww.
She likes
it seems like these things, all of it, in my opinion, the more you talk about it and the more receptive you are, the more you tend to experience.
Oh yeah.
And
the more they're on your brain, it draws them to you. Even if they don't allow contact, they will be watching you more. And if you're a low frequency person and you're thinking about them all the time, that puts you in a very precarious position. If you're a high frequency person and you are thinking about them all the time, then they'll stay around, they'll watch you. Some will interact, some won't, depending on what they want to do.
I wanted to get your opinion. Like Cecil said, I don't want to be me. But want to get your opinion while we have you. So the second experience, shortly after the orb that I showed earlier. So again, 2 a.m. There's a, I live very close to Cincinnati, like very close, like 25 minutes away from downtown. But I also live 25 minutes away from nowhere. And it's kind of that middle balance.
Well, you've got Sasquatch that watch your house anyway, so you have two especially.
So I've showed Stephen pictures from trail cams that I've had back in this patch of woods. He thinks he saw some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a good eye. He probably did.
But
yeah, it's there. It's about half cloaked is what it is. I'll send it to you, Robin.
Okay.
Here's what happened though. So it's 2 a.m. One of our dogs looks like a wolf. He is the size of a Great Dane and looks like a wolf. Like he's big old wolfy dog.
Mm-hmm.
And his name's Remy. And let the dogs out. Remy immediately goes, like, he always uses the bathroom on the fence line. Our backyard's fenced in, so like close to the pond.
Yeah.
And he is just like enamored by something. Like he uses the bathroom and he's enamored by something in the woods. And I open the door, and when I open the door, I hear my wife's voice coming from the woods.
Mm-hmm.
She calls him a certain way. She always goes, Remy. And I hear Remy, and he jumps up on the fence. And I'm like, get in the house.
No,
now.
it's because you've got those two that I was just telling you about. You got a male that's like a deep chocolate covered, very shaggy, very robust built, but there's a female with him, and she is a much lighter color, and she's not quite as stocky as he is. They can imitate. Gosh, I can't talk tonight. They can imitate any voice they want. Okay, years ago, my ex-husband would go out to hunt in our woods because we had 10 acres, and he was out there one day. He came in just screaming at me how I was out there talking to him, scaring the deer. And I'm like, I haven't left the house. And he's like, I know your voice. I've known you for 15 years. And I'm like, clearly you don't. Haven't left the house. And the kids are like, Dad, Mom's been in the kitchen the whole time. She's never left. And they can literally imitate a voice to the point you cannot tell who it is. And so, that's just the way it works. We ended up putting forth a rule at my house, because you have to understand, my kids grew up with these things around, and my younger 3 more so than the older 5, but they all had them around. In fact, my godson called me one time and he said it was all real, and I said, what do you mean? And by this time he was in his 20s, and he said, the monkey people. I said, what monkey people? He said, the ones that used to run around your front yard. He said, those were real, weren't they? And I'm like, yeah, they were. But we put in forth
crazy.
And he's in the military. Okay. But we put in force a rule at my house that if you're outside playing and you hear somebody call you from the woods that sounds like somebody that you know, unless you see them physically, you do not go. Yeah. I don't care if it's Mom and I'm threatening to whip your behind or ground you or take away, God forbid, a game PlayStation or something. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get punished, because unless you physically see me, you never go. Because they can imitate all of it. Every single bit of it.
I wish I could tell my dogs that.
Well, the dogs know.
I always like sharing a picture of Remy because he looks like a stillable dog. He's such an adorable little thing.
There's 2 of them in there. There's 2 of them. There's one that's a dog person in there, Stephen. That top one you sent me. Yeah. That's a Sasquatch with it looks like a dog person. So they're sharing territory on your place.
Yeah. So that's Tully's picture.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. That was a Sasquatch and a dogman next to each other. Some of them will share territory fine. Others won't share territory at all. Some of them will live separately. Some property that I have, the dogman stays to the front, the Sasquatch stays to the back. It's just really incredible. But yeah, you've got those 2 there. So there's a clan that's not on your property. It's quite a ways away, but those 2 come over to visit you, and they come up by the house, like they're looking in the window and everything else. That dog man hangs around as well. Now, when you get a lot of these cryptids or any of them around, because of the high frequency, that high frequency acts as a beacon that will call in little people. So you also, by the way, have one that runs around in your house. Stephen, you have a bunch of them. You have a bunch of them. Okay. Yeah. And you up there in the top corner, you have not been ignored. You've got 3 little people that go through your house. And
that's terrifying.
No, it's okay. If they were bad, I would pick it up. I'm not picking up anything bad off of any of you guys. But anyway,
I told you.
So that high frequency, it glows. And to anything in the paranormal spectrum, it can see it even if somebody in the third dimension can't. So it's like a beacon.
I was totally saying that about about his wife calling. I almost called her by name. Almost outed her. I think I had before anyway. Anyway, her
Way to
name's
go, Cecil. Dox us all, man. Just give our addresses out on.
Anyway, Rachel totally that lives at 1415.
Well, I will say this. There's not one of the three of you that do not have Sasquatch hanging around outside and peeking in windows.
Well, that's why I was going to ask, because I live right in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. Like I live
Next
right
to Daniel Boone.
like Daniel Boone Forest is right across the road.
Yeah.
And
When you've got the three little people, but you've also got Sasquatch out there, and they are becoming more aware of you. The one just said he's becoming more evolved, is what he said. He says he's evolving.
Actually sounds accurate.
And Robin, I can attest to that, because that was part of our conversation last night after the show.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what he just said. He says he evolving.
Yeah. But
trying to help you, by the way. They're trying to get mind speak into you. He said we're trying to talk to him, but he doesn't know it. So if you ever want to know all the different ways to mind speak, get my number.
All right.
From Steven, and I'll help you. Yours.
When I was a kid, I had a little issue where they said I had too many voices talking to me.
Well, that's because it was all mind speak. It wasn't fake. Now, the two that come to your house, do you have a window in your bathroom?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because the female says she's looked in that bathroom window before, and then they also have looked through a window in the front. Is there some kind of a bigger window in the front?
There's a porthole in the front of,
okay,
of
well,
mine.
Okay, well, they're looking through it.
Well,
I don't know why she's so insistent on the bathroom window, but she was like all geeked up about the bathroom window.
Yeah, let me think about this. We may have to talk a little bit about this after the show, because there's intimate details about some of this that I will not disclose on air.
Hey, wait till you get graded. You haven't lived till you got graded. But get my number from Steven, you guys. But yeah, you guys have all got a lot going on.
But so the only other experience since we've lived in the house, the first experience before it was actually like COVID days. We're out back fishing, a group of people, and we're catfishing at night. It's again a 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and me and one other person both witnessed something come out of the woods. I've witnessed this sort of thing another time in my life, but not in this house. A deer walks out of the woods, and it's either albino or it's glowing. I don't know. Like you take your pick.
It wasn't a deer.
And it starts walking. And as it starts walking, it starts to move and transform.
Yeah,
this sounds completely nuts.
No, I watched them do it. They shapeshift.
It starts to move and walk like a cat, and takes off into a gate like a cat and jumps back off into the tree line. And there were multiple witnesses.
I had security cameras on the front of my house, and it was not for the cryptids. I enjoyed watching the deer come out and feed in the front of my yard. And so that's why the security camera was up there. And before they decided to zap them and ruin all my cameras, but I think actually the ETs took them out before the cryptids did. I had this, it was shaped like a deer, but it was the size of an elk, and it was jet black. It came into my yard, and I have on both sides of my property, there's a tree line of nothing but like 30, 40-foot pine trees. And it stood up on its hind legs, and it was like reaching with its hooves, like it was grabbing stuff off the tree. And it was on two legs. I'm like, what in the hell's going on? I had somebody else at my house. They were watching it. We had linked her tablet and then my tablet onto the security camera so we could both watch it. Her daughter was there. She was watching it as well. And it's walking on its hind legs down my tree line. And I'm like, what in the world? And then it got up my garage door and it morphed down into a black Sasquatch. It then walked across the front of my garage over to my front porch, sits its little tushy down on, or big tushy, on my porch step, and it's sitting there. Now, I had always put bird food down on the grass in the middle of the yard, and birds ate it. The possums ate it. The raccoons ate it. And so it sat there for a minute. And then, you know how when we were kids, we walked on the back of our thighs like a duck? They called it the duck walk.
Yeah.
It did that from my porch over to where the bird seed was at. It got to the bird seed. It's picking the bird seed up with its hot little hand and shoving it in its mouth. Next thing I know, it morphs down to a raccoon, turns around and runs off. Okay. I had to watch that video so many times to wrap my head about it. You wouldn't believe it. And I have watched them morph into so many bizarre things. And also when they cloak, sometimes they get really careless and they don't cloak the whole body. You want to freak out? It is very discerning to watch something go across your yard and only see an arm go across or only see a leg go across. And I had put food out one time when I lived in Michigan, and the group hadn't come in yet to eat it, but this large male that was not a part of the group did. He was very hungry, had been traveling quite a bit. He came in to get food, and I walked outside and I said, "Who are you? You're new." And he looked at me and he cloaked, but he had a conial shaped head. He cloaked. He never cloaked the top of the cone. It looked like a yarmulke running through my woods. You know, I mean, it was hysterical. So they don't always get everything cloaked. I had one that yelled at a friend of mine and we were driving down a dirt road and he was walking across the front of the tree line of this woods. And he started yelling at me in mind speak going, "Stop looking at me, stop looking at me." And I was so mad because he was blowing my eardrums out. And I looked at him and I said, "Then quit, cover your hairy ass. You can do it. You're the one sticking your butt out for me to see. If you don't want me to see it, go in the woods or cloak." Oh, he got so mad. So he took off in the woods. But
I've got a question about these little people, just real quick. Because I've always summed it up to maybe a ghost. But there's times when I sit here or even in the living room, my little dog, she stays with me a lot. But I'll see something out of the corner of my eye, just kind of trample that way.
That's the little people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that scares me to death.
Actually, your dog is pretty good. Yeah, your dog is nervous around them because of the frequency shifts. And dogs are high frequency as well. But they have gone up to her and touched her before, and she's been okay. Yeah. Now, the little people can go either good or bad. They're very much pranksters. I'm not picking up anything bad at any of you guys' place right now at all. So I wouldn't be too concerned with it. But they're saying that they move your stuff around a lot.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
They like tobacco and candy. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And God forbid, if you find a rock in your house, do not touch it. We had one that went crazy because he kept telling us that we stole his rock. And we're like, "No, we haven't touched your rock. We haven't seen it. You took our rock. I want my rock back. You need to give me back my rock." Like, "I haven't touched your damn rock." So he was gone for weeks. And then he came back and I said, "So you're back. Did you find your rock?" He said, "I found my rock. It was at home." I'm like, "You yelled at me for your rock. I didn't touch it."
There's no way you can know this about me, but I am terrified of gnomes and little things.
You do not have any gnomes in your house, but you do have little people. There is 3 of them. They like to wrestle around. In fact, they're saying that sometimes they've woke you up because you've heard noises of them wrestling around, and they're sorry if they woke you up.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah. That's nuts. That's terrifying, man. Look, my dog's like it's all right.
You were concerned about that light that was shining inside my house for a while back.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, and living in the woods, like I was wanting to ask, like anytime, because it's a big thing in Appalachia for sure. If you hear somebody talk to you in the woods, you didn't hear them, just keep going. I've heard it, but up to like maybe wind, things like this, I wanted to believe it, name and things of this nature. What is
Yes,
that?
they can cloak.
Is
There's
that
a
always
question.
like,
I'm sorry. Yes, they can cloak. Yeah, that's pretty much normal.
Yeah.
Now, the Sasquatch, they speak English. They speak whatever language they're actually around or whatever language they want. They also have their own language. Their own language, they sound like gibberish.
lost
And
audio again?
they speak very quickly. Some of them have more of a guttural sound. When they speak, they come from the clavicle, when we speak, it's more from the top of the throat. So you might notice some variation there, but they can imitate anybody's voice at any time. They can also project smells. Like if you're out in the woods and you have to smell like a coffee smell, and it's like, okay, nobody's got a coffee pot out here unless Kerrig makes a battery operated one, so you can get some really strange smells as well.
I keep losing audio. I don't know why. I'm losing audio every 5 or 6.
Now, the Appalachians have feral people, but they're generally way up in the mountains.
That's what
I'm not picking up. Yeah, I'm not picked up any of them down by you.
When we was over in Jackson County last week, that's kind of where my mind went, because you heard the heavy footsteps and the woo woo woo. Like,
No,
right?
that's typical Sasquatch. Very
Right.
typical for Sasquatch.
Okay.
And they will follow you around because you've got a high vibration and you talk about them, you think about them or whatever. So that kind of will make them check you out to make sure you're good. You can be a person that is very low frequency, a murderer, rapist, pedophile, whatever, and then put on that good boy act for somebody, and they can see right through it because energy and frequency doesn't lie. So they're going to see your heart and they're going to know you're a good human. Okay. So when they follow you around like that, a couple things can be happening. They're checking you out to check out your intent, to check out your frequency, your energy, or if you happen to stumble in an area where maybe they're hunting, they do have meetings. They could be having a meeting. They could be teaching the kids various things. Then if that were the case, they would do whatever they could to make you leave without having to have any physical altercations. But they were just following you because they were checking you out. They were trying to mind speak with you, but they said you didn't respond.
Yeah, I was scared.
Okay, well, I don't want to lose sight of this. Let's we need to look at some of these.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go, Robin?
You can go to the top one if you want. We'll just do it that way. Okay, this one you can see his face right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, right there.
Right there,
That's a
you see the eyes.
Sasquatch. He was right next to the fence that runs in my backyard for the dogs. My dogs play with them all the time. They get right in the backyard with them. So yeah, he was just hanging out.
No,
Looks
I was
like
looking.
there's something darker up here too.
I was gonna say when I was
Yeah,
looking,
that one didn't come out as clear. There was 2 or 3 of them in the bush that day. His was just the best face that popped. But yeah, there's more. There was 3 of them in there.
And then
This is one of my favorite guys ever. He's followed me from Michigan to South Carolina, and I keep praying to him that he's gonna. I think there might be a close up of him too, where you can see his face in there. But yeah, one of them I think I sent over. You can see his face, but that's.
would it be this one?
No, that's a different one. I'm trying to see where he's at. I don't know. Maybe I didn't send it. I thought I did. But anyway, it's a male Sasquatch. He's in his 40s. He is absolutely what I consider one of my best friends.
thank you
Yeah,
for sharing.
check your email.
Hang on, let me.
It's in your email now.
I don't want to dox myself.
You just talked to me. You put my full legal name up there with my email address.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
That's all right.
Well, mine has my full name and email on it as well, so we're in the same boat. Let me see.
Send me something cool.
That's that's the same one, Stephen. I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought I sent the close. I have a close up. You can see his nose on him and his eyes. But yeah, he was actually walking around in the background.
Hang on, let me snip it out. I'll snip it out.
See if you can enlarge it.
Yeah.
He's such. That guy has saved my butt so many times. It's not even funny. He's just been incredible. Yeah, you can see his face a little bit better there. There you go. See, you can see him a little bit better.
I mean, it looks like it looks very traditional.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy.
Yeah.
And he said he's about 40. Right now, he's about 10 and a half, 11 foot tall. He was only 9.5 foot at that point.
Yeah. You notice anything about the posture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Notice the posture.
Yeah. I was sleeping one night. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and I just woke up and I couldn't figure out why. And I rolled over, and he's got his face in my window.
Oh, Lord.
Big old grin on his face. I'm like, okay, buddy. I live out in the woods, and I don't have curtains on my windows, which sounds disgusting. I know. My bathroom windows are frosted so nobody can look in. I change in there. I don't want to have to put them all through therapy so they cannot see anything. But I don't have curtains on my bedroom windows because they throw a temper tantrum. They like to watch me at night. And, I sleep fully closed. So again, I don't have to pay for therapy bills for them. So they are always looking in my windows at night.
Okay, so that brings up maybe another question is like, have you ever talked to them about the abductions?
Yeah, they actually are pretty good. Yeah, generally, if there's anything bad coming, and they usually give me a warning. They did the other night, and I wasn't abducted. I kind of dealt with it before the abduction happened, but they had let me know the other night that there was one coming that was not good. And so I was prepared when it showed up, and it's not coming back.
It's wild.
Another one might come in its place, but that one isn't coming back.
Let me see. Okay, we got more. What
more.
haven't we looked at?
Okay. You can just, let's see. Pick one. That's fine. Pick one up. Okay, this is a baby dog man. He was about 30 to 40 feet up in the tree. He goes by the name of Nico, and it was 8:30 at night in the summer, so it was quite light outside. You can see his snout, a little bit of his eyes, and his pointy ears. He wanted me to come outside. And generally what happens, I go out, they pull energy off of me because they like my frequency. And he wanted me outside, and was moving into my home at that day. I was exhausted. I didn't want to go out. And he kept saying, I'll let you take a picture. I said, then you're lying because you guys don't like your picture taken. He's like, no, come out. I'll let you take my picture. I said, okay, I'm going to come out. I'm going to take this picture. And if you're not in it, then I'm not talking to you anymore because you're a liar, which means you're bad. He's like, okay. And so I got his picture.
It does look like an Ewok.
Isn't he cute?
Besides Steven's picture, this is the other one that I'm going to keep in my arsenal for like proof of Dogman.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There might be a better one in here though. I keep seeing this guy, and I'm like,
the one on the bottom right's my favorite. The one with him behind the tree, totally. It's brown.
Okay, we realized very early on that if you take a picture of me in the woods, and I hate my picture taken, they show up. So what we have here, they are Sasquatch. There's 3. The one up front is a baby, which would be about 2 or 3 years old. You can see the tips of the eyes from the red mom in the back, and then the bump on her head is actually an infant.
Yep, that's the baby up there. Yep.
Yeah, and what you see in the corner of the picture that looks like a little blurry brown thing, that was my ponytail. They follow me around. So we found out, right in the right-hand bottom corner. So we figured out that it was just easier to take a picture of me, which I absolutely hate with an undying passion, and then we find them in the background.
This is the one that you wanted to see, or this one? This one? Or
that
this
one
one?
right there, bottom right, I think.
Yeah,
the bottom right.
Okay, this is a female. She actually has her hair pulled up on top of her head. She claims her name is Matilda, but I think she likes, you can blow that up to see her better. I think she likes that name because of the DNA study, there was a Matilda. But she was just hanging out. You can see the top of the fence where the dog's fence is at. She was just peeking around the corner watching the dogs play.
Yep. And some of them, they will, they have long enough hair, they will braid it.
She's very sweet, very kind. All these guys, like I said, that I have pictures of, have never been aggressive.
See, so we're
And
getting a lot of feedback, like it's echoing bad.
they have definitely had every opportunity to be aggressive, and none of these guys have ever been aggressive.
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep losing audio like crazy. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's totally fine. It's fixed now.
For the second.
You can go to the one next to that. Yeah, right there. Okay, this one looks more human. You can see the nose, the eyes. He's got a little bit of hair on top, but it looks definitely much more like a human face. And some of them do have that.
Yep.
Again, up by the dog pen, they like to play with the dogs. My dogs get so excited when they're around. Oh my God. They go outside, they'll climb over the fence and they'll do the belly crawl to play with the dogs. And
I don't think
you
we
can.
Have we sold this one?
Oh no, this is a handprint. We had this particular black pillow. The other side of this pillow was Chewbacca from Star Wars. And I had been in the bedroom. I swept the floor, made the bed, washed the pillow, put it there on a chair that was next to the bed, walked into the other room. I was not out of the house. I went to go back into what is a sitting area outside the bedroom, and I found this white powder, which a lot of people notice with them, on the floor with fingerprints in them. So I said, you guys, I don't mind that you get in here, but I have enough to clean. I went to go get something to clean it. I came back. It was all cleaned up except a few pieces. I never went into the bedroom. So I went back out. I was cooking dinner. My ex-husband, we were married at the time, came in. He said, I'm going to go take a shower. He takes a shower. He comes back and he said, okay, so who left the giant handprint on the pillow? And I said, what are you talking about? Nobody, I've been here by myself all day. Nobody's been in the bedroom. I just got done cleaning the bedroom. He said, well, there's a giant handprint on it. That is the giant handprint. And you can tell it's them because look at how low that finger, the thumb goes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
We can't make our thumb go out like that, like not unless you want to break it first. And also, dermal ridges on a Sasquatch print go horizontal or maybe at an angle. Our swirl. If you can see on that, those dermal ridges are not swirling. They go almost in a line or at angle.
yeah.
Yep.
This is crazy.
Isn't that a riot? You should see what they did. I had gotten a different car. I mean, I just got a different car. I went out the next day. My entire car was nothing but gargantuan handprints. Like, it was hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah. Keith Crabtree, he wound up with some really big handprints on the side of his truck.
Yep, I love Keith. Now, if you go in the top row all the way down to the right, see if this is the one I think it is. Okay, enlarge it. Right there by that middle dark thing you're going to see is a wonderful looking face sticking out. You see it?
Yep. Yep.
What am I? Hang on, I'm trying.
His head is tipped sideways.
Yeah.
You can see the
Oh,
eyes.
yeah. I got you.
Yep. More of the patty where they've got the hair all the way around except the cheekbones and over the eyes and nose. Isn't he cute?
So it's like maybe a baby.
No, it's an adult. He was hiding down in the brush. I was in Texas. He was following me around, and I took it at some property I'm looking at or that I'm purchasing. And so he was just hanging out. This was up by my camper. I actually had one of the Sasquatch kids walk in my camper. I was laying on the bed. He walked in. I'm like, your dad is not going to be happy, Val. So he turned around and ran out.
T asked if they have a big forehead. I think this is a yes.
Yes, they absolutely do. Please understand that they are just like us. Every one of us is built differently, has just different facial features. So do they. Don't pigeonhole what all of them are supposed to look like, because every single one of them is vastly different. But yes, they do have a higher forehead. Now, Shadow, which is one that I'm very close to as well, he actually doesn't. His face and his head is the same size as our human men, and it's covered in hair, very, very short hair. The eyelids have hair. the ears have hair in it, where most of them don't have that. But he's built more like a human man than he is a Sasquatch man. But yeah, they do have a high forehead typically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their heads are usually pretty big too.
I'm trying to.
Their heads.
Okay, this is the drawing that they did for me one day. They were so cute. On the right-hand side is a Sasquatch, and then you see ET heads behind him and on his side. They drew this, and then they drew a teddy bear, but I got to find the teddy bear picture.
Yeah, this almost looks like petroglyphs.
Yeah. They drew that. They were just lovely. I did take that picture, and I had somebody that was very efficient in finding, various things on trees, whether it be rot or moss or whatever. And they said that was nothing they'd ever seen. This particular tree I walked by and that drawing was not on. They then told me about 15 minutes later to go back and see the present they left. I went back. This was on the tree. And then I left to go into the house. I came back out an hour later and it was gone. And there were giant footprints at the base of the tree. So that kind of helped seal the deal.
Have you gotten any casts? Like,
I did. I've got some that I left at the Darwin Museum in Russia. One that I left at the Shore Museum in Siberia. I do have the baby cast that I had, the first print I ever took. And some of the other ones when I moved, unfortunately, got broke, but I do have all pictures of them. But yeah, I took a lot of casts. I even took a trackway that they had left, and I put the plaster in the entire trackway and took a picture of it. So yeah, I've gotten pictures of them. And for people that are making casts, if you take pieces of grass, little tiny sticks or whatever, and put it in that plaster and then put more plaster on top of it, it does help strengthen that plaster so that it won't break as easy.
Nice. Are there any we haven't hit?
Go down. Yeah. Bottom row, second from the left. If it's what I think it is, I really want you to see this. Yes. Okay. Blow this boy up. This is Zerky. You can see his face, his eyes. You see his mouth. You see him? Zerky, when I moved into my home, was roughly 2 to 3 years old. And he played up by the house. His mother's name is Mawaka. His dad's name is Shendoa. And Shendoa was the leader of the clan. I have 3 clans that visit the property. And Mawaka would sit in the bushes. She had gutted out the inside of the bushes, and then she made tunnels through them. And she would sit there with Zerky. Zerky's now 5.5, 6 foot tall. And he's probably, I want to say 10 to 11 now. And he would play, and he would play, and he would play. He'd climb, run up and down the trees. I even got a picture of him in one of the bigger trees with his hand over his face. So it's like this. All you can see is knuckles and then hair going both sides. And he played in those bushes and gutted things out, swung from those trees, broke those trees while he was climbing on them for a very long time. And I was able to get this picture of him. He also comes up on my porch at night and steals the feral cat food. And he also goes into the feral cat pens. I have a lot of ferals, and I feed everything that comes to my house. So if I can tame them down to catch them, I put the boys in one pen, the girls in another pen. And one of the pens, which has a top, I put 5 pounds of cat food in at a time in this giant bowl. He likes to go in and take all the cat food out, carry pine cones in, and fill the bowl with pine cones instead of the cat food. So the cats, I go out the next morning, are screaming bloody murder, and the bowl is filled with pine cones. And the pine cones won't fit through the fencing. That's the thing. And there's a top on the fence.
Yeah, this is why I knew that we needed to talk to you again.
Yeah.
It's been too
fun.
long.
I know, it's been fun. I love it. You guys are awesome.
We haven't you had some of these pictures, I think, the first time that we talked.
Yeah.
I wish Morgana would have been here as well, to talk and ask questions, but
oh yeah. Well, we can do it again sometime. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we should. And
absolutely.
And hopefully there's not a day where you don't do shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're it was funny because I was never going to do them again. I came back from Siberia and there was so much hate. And I was like, I'm done. Animal Planet called me and said, such and such said that you're a fake, you didn't invite them to your property. And I said, hell will freeze over when that person comes to my property. I'm okay with everybody thinking I'm a fake because, well, everybody thinks I'm a fake. I'm out in the backyard with my Sasquatch, so I'm a happy girl. I'm fine. And
it's not like you're all over social media being like, hey, here's everything I'm experiencing. Never. Come buy my stuff. Or,
no.
you know what I mean?
No, I don't. You don't see me post on Facebook. I don't even advertise my business on Facebook because people that need me find me. And I don't care if anybody knows my name. One of the things that I know is in my path that I'm supposed to do is get the information out. That's what I try to do. And I also help people. I work and I help a lot of people that are having problems with things or need answers or whatever. That's what I do. That's my path. There's also a certain job that I have to do for the cryptids. I am very well aware of it, and I've tried to honor that as time goes by. But I don't. Like, you don't see me posting all over social media going, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Exactly.
That's not my path. That's not why I'm here. That's not what I do. But I did stop because I had a couple people, there was a kidnapping attempt, and thankfully the Dogman and the Sasquatch together stopped it, which I appreciate. There was at one point somebody that wanted to bash mine and 4 other women's heads in so that when as they so eloquently put it, our brains filtered out onto the ground, the Sasquatch would come in to save us, and then they could bag a Bigfoot.
Good.
For the record, I have made sure that every one of the Sasquatch and Dogmen that I have contact with, they have already been told it does not matter what happens to me. You never come running in. And to be clear, no matter how much they love us, they love themselves and their people more, and they will protect themselves before they protect us. Now, I am blessed by the protection I get because they've done it a lot, but I don't want anything sacrificed on my behalf. And so I quit doing all of these things. And then when they came to me about 7, 8 years ago, I said 6, but I think it's closer to 7 or 8 years ago now. And they said, it's time. And I said, for what? And they said, you have to go forward. And I said, why? And they said, because they need to know the truth. I said, we tried the truth with the Dr. Ketchum study. Nobody wanted to listen. And they said, it's time. We have to try again. And so I said, okay. And that's what I've been doing. I don't go on shows. I don't do, some of them, I've done a few movies. I don't do any of them without their consent because it's their information. My experiences are mine. I can share those where I want. Their information is theirs. And I always want to honor that. So I ask them before I do any show or any film.
We need to pitch this to the Hellier people so that they can come out.
Yep. And so, I do what they want me to do. I have the right to decline any of the work they want me to do, but like they'll send me different places, to bless graves, release trapped souls, that kind of thing, clear the land, re-energize the land. I do a lot of that stuff. So I get sent all over for that.
That is amazing, Robin. It's been so great having you tonight. We're going to have to, we need to make this like a quarterly thing or like a couple times a year at least. Like, all
you guys got to do is call me, and Steven can give you my number. So if you guys have questions or if you need anything, like I said, send me a text so I've got yours so I know who it is. But you guys can get hold of me anytime. I'm generally around at night.
He sent it. I will definitely do that.
Okay, good.
Just so that, maybe next time I'll just text and be like, hey, can you do a show? In 2 months or whatever.
Yeah. Anybody wants services? My website is paranormal-empowerment.com. If you just have questions, if you go on Facebook and it's just a question, you don't have to book a session to ask me a question. Please don't. You can always write to me. I don't mind that at all. But if you go on Facebook, I'm under Robin Haynes with no middle initial because I can't get into that account. So it's Haynes. I get back to everybody. Okay. If I haven't gotten back to you in 48 hours, I never got the message. Try it again because I answer everybody.
Sorry. I was in the middle of texting you.
This is not wanting to cooperate.
I got it. Thank you. Today. I'll save it.
Cecil, Cecil usually takes the show out, but he's having trouble tonight.
Nope, I
Yeah.
got both of
Can
you
you hear
guys'.
me
I
right
will
now?
save them. You guys can reach out to me
Yes.
anytime. Absolutely anytime.
And Cecil, before he lost audio, wants you to email witf@gmx.com. Cecil, I think wants to see if you want to come on at some point. If you want to share your experiences, I know you've been share.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I could hear you, but I couldn't understand what you said.
Oh. Maybe we're just having audio issues across the board.
No, I can hear you, but you talked too fast. I couldn't understand what you're saying.
Oh. This is a unique show. I don't know what to say other than just it's been amazing having you on, Robin.
Oh, thank you. I've loved it, you guys. I have so much fun with you.
We're open to it all, and we've all had experiences definitely not as profound or strong,
but they're all important. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the collective. Like there's nobody, this is the other thing. Nobody is more important than anybody else. And if anybody has an ego about it, you shouldn't be, because in the higher frequencies, there is no ego. Like I don't have enough self-confidence to have an ego. Like I am very confident in the knowledge that I've been taught, because I got it from exactly where it came from. Like I never learned anything out of a book. I don't get hold of people and say, teach me this or teach me that. I learned it from cryptids and ETs and, Earthkeeper, the master, that kind of thing. So I feel comfortable with what I teach and what I know and what I explain to people, but I'm not ego driven. Like I really am not.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Craziest episode. I've been losing audio literally every 2 or 3 minutes. I'm afraid I'm going to lose it again soon. But before we do, I want to run through some quick promos for us as well.
Do it up.
We have the shop. Tully's released hats, bucket hats, trucker hats, regular hats. This is what Tully wears as a Speedo when he goes to the beach. This is a pack for $100. He just packs whatever's in that little pouch.
You can get your $100 fanny pack. You gotta spend money to hold money.
Right, here's a list. This is our bumper sticker, as you can tell. This is the Where's the Real Steven shirt. We got all the designs here. This is Morgana's. This is mine. This one will be going away soon.
Oh, I should have wore I actually own a Where's the Real Steven shirt. I should have wore that tonight.
You should have. Also, you can go to linktree.com/wearingthefolk to get the link to it as well as everything else. Don't forget to go to Cosmic Crumbs. Sign up for the mailing list. And share your recipes, share your stories, or anything unique. This is Tully's show that he does on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern.
You'd be a great guest for that, Robin. Actually,
that'd be fun.
Are you a food person? Do you like recipes?
Do I like what?
Like, did you grow up with like unique recipes and stuff like that? Like just
regional my grandma cooked like crazy. I love to cook, but I don't have any really unique recipes. I mean, but I do love to cook. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be perfect then.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Morgana has Between the Notes coming out very soon. We hope everything's all right, Morgana, with everything that's going on. We love you.
Yeah, sorry we missed you.
Yes.
And on
shout out to her.
And on April 20th, 2026, Till Death Do We Watch, the podcast with me and my wife, where we review
wonderful
movies, will be coming out soon. That'll be only on YouTube. It's called Till Death Do We Watch. YouTube.com/@Till Death Do We Watch. And I want to get that out of the way before my audio cut out again, so you all can continue. Don't forget the Speedo that Tully wears. He just tucks everything right in that pocket, and it works
I don't know. I don't know how that's working in the fanny pack, dude. But yeah, we
It's
get
a little
the.
hips.
You know, Cecil wants to start selling thongs, but we don't have a good supplier yet.
That's dental floss for your butt. That's what
I'm
that
I'm looking into it. We'll see.
Oh, man.
We're totally moonlights with Chippendales. He's trying to get with their supplier.
All right, y'all. Listen, if you don't already follow us, give us a follow. Robin, tell them again where they can find you.
You can find me at www.paranormal-empowerment.com or on Facebook under Robin Haynes, Haynes, no middle initial.
And we'll be back here next week, hitting you with the hard stuff like we do every week. And thank you so much for listening. If you made it to the end, and we'll see you on the next side.
Bye, everybody.